Okay. Okay, so I want to make one more video because I'm on a bender. Hi! Oh my goodness, is my dog gonna come cuddle with me? Oh my god. If anything, you guys really should stay for this little Monchichi. Ooh, my little Milano cookies in the background. Mwah. Okay, anyways. Alright, maybe I should keep him in the video because he is the only man I love. Ooh, he's so cute. Oh my god, he is actually the cutest thing. He is actually the cutest thing. So, I was watching a video earlier today about my friend had, well, he thinks I'm his enemy, but I think enemies are just friends that are waiting to come to terms with the fact that they are meant to be friends and not enemies. Because enemies is a very strong emotion. It's a strong title to bestow on someone, and I don't think I earned it. But anyways, the person was talking about hypergamy. And for those of you who don't know what hypergamy is, it is kind of a philosophy that's been perpetuated by men go their own way and kind of incel, areas, spaces. Okay, but I guess this term has existed for a really long time. So I'm going to read the Wikipedia definition of it, which is hypergamy is a term in social science for the act or practice of a person marrying a spouse of higher caste or social status than themselves. The antonym, okay, so it's pretty much just like the idea of a gold digger or, men say women are hypergamous. Men are hypergamous too, first of all, if it's just like dating up. I mean, men are always trying to like date hot chicks. Like, what the fuck is this idea that hypergamy? It's like, this is biology. This is natural selection. I know it could be so easy to feel like if you don't feel like you are in a status that has access to the things you want, which I think is a really big problem with lookism, which is like, because I'm a product of lookism too. I fucking have had, most women are, that's the thing though. It's like all women have this, like, in our women's sphere, because there's a manosphere where guys are like competing to have the biggest dicks and be the tallest, and women are obviously always competing with each other too, and with ourselves, or with, everyone's competing with themselves. Like, this is the problem where I think people need to stop thinking that men and women are so different. We're not different. It's just, I think the problem is that, first of all, I will say as a woman, I think men do need be a little bit more like empathetic to women. I see so much misogyny and so much like me coming from a dude. And I know that as a woman, like, it could be really grating to hear when a woman talks about what she wants, and like when a woman, talks about her needs not being met. I know that makes a guy's emotional, and physical dick go limp, which shouldn't really matter. The whole point should be that we should be able to like have these conversations and to like be seen and treated with mutual respect. But I think there's like this huge issue where a guy doesn't want to feel like he isn't winning, like he isn't winning the awards. And it's like the reward system, I think, in a man's head, like a man's ego, I think, is actually a lot more fragile than a woman's ego, who kind of has to like just get used to being disrespected. Like, even if a girl is like the most popular girl, in my friend's video, he said like he said that usually a girl will be innately attracted to like the hot jock, like the Chad, which is, the hottest guy. The problem is that men want the girl who has orbiters. Men want the most popular girl. That's the problem. It's like in a man's world, it's like there's one girl who is the object of everyone's affection, and the guy wants to, like, every protagonist in their story wants to be the guy who wins over, like, the prize, like the trophy wife. So every other girl in the picture is pretty much like thrown to the side. You know what I mean? So it's like clearly the problem is when you are competing with many other people for one person or one thing, and you're supposed to be the winner, and everyone in their head is like, well, I'm supposed to be the winner. Like, if you end up being the loser, I'm sorry, but it's like you are kind of the one that put yourself in that position. I'm not saying men need to lower their standards, but I'm noticing that it's like men really do like the competition with each other to win over Miss Universe. It's not even that they think she's special. They don't even really know anything about her. They don't even necessarily think she's that hot. Because there's a lot of beautiful, hot women. There's a lot of beautiful, attractive people. There are people that, you start to get to know them and they become more attractive if you are an intellectual person. I am someone that's very demisexual personally, which is like, yes, if someone's hot, like, I'm going to notice. Part of me has, like, what's called nice guy self-esteem, which it's like, I kind of don't want to go for, like, the guy that I know other girls are going for, because I know that because they're hot and they know that they could get anyone. For me, even more so, if I see average guys, feeling entitled to Miss Universe, I can only imagine that, like, the really hot guys, I mean, maybe they'll be nice to the more average girls as opposed to, like, bitter incels who are, like, just kind of mean to everyone and orbit the hot popular girl in hopes that she will give them attention, which I do not understand that psychology. But anyways, I'll admit a lot of really hot guys who know they're good looking and who've had good relationships with girls, just like with getting, like, they're usually nice to, like, insecure girls, which is kind of crazy. But then those insecure girls like me think that them being nice means that they're in love with us. So that's kind of like the issue too, where, I'm demisexual and I kind of just don't really, like, I'll just kind of, like, vibe with someone and see where that goes. But I always have my guard up. And, the second I feel even slightly uncomfortable with the situation because I think the person I'm interacting with is trying to manipulate me in some way, like, I won't be attracted. So for me, and I think for a lot of other girls, we don't genuinely just want a guy who's hot. Like, if a guy's hot, but he's, like, dumber than a fucking bag of retarded rocks, like, I don't think, at least more mature women, and I don't mean old, like, I just mean more emotionally mature women, they won't be necessarily turned on by that. Whereas I think a lot of guys, like, as much as I wish men were more emotionally intelligent and cerebral, like, they do have a weakness for physically good-looking women. There is, like, the power and the currency of a woman's vanity, and it can be very hard. Like, I don't know what it's like to be a guy, but I know what it's like to be a woman who feels like her, like, just for being a woman, just for having a vagina, that our worth is all about, like, our sex appeal. And so there's, like, all these hacks that you could do to try to, like, help with your self-esteem. Like, I've noticed that a lot of times when a girl's insecure or not feeling herself, she will show more skin. She will try to do things that peacock and get a man's validation. And back in the day, I think that kind of worked. But nowadays, guys see that and they smell the desperation and they pounce on it and they insult it because they get more turned on by degrading a woman and fucking with her emotions than they do with actually like getting her attention and making something happen with her. There's like, I think it's because like men have so much access to like women. So much access to women. Back in the day, guys really did have to try to like interact with women. You know, they had to go to the fucking like dance or the bar even. Like you had to put some kind of social work to interact with women and hopefully even get sex. Like the ways you had to, but nowadays it's like, hey, you know, you could text a hoe, you know, you could ask for nudes, you could ask like 20 bitches in the span of 1 minute for nudes. Maybe one responds, maybe one comes over. If she doesn't, you have porn for free. I remember when I was growing up, like, I was into porn. And when I was growing up, I had to download it. I had to go on LimeWire and, like, write porn and hope that I didn't give my computer AIDS. Like, it was not as easy to get porn back when I was growing up. But now, you could watch porn, like, in class, for real. Especially with 3G, bro, because when I was in high school, yeah, we had, like people, when I was in school and people wanted to watch porn at school for whatever reason, you had to download it. You had to, like, torrent it and download it and put it into your, like, iPod Touch or your Zune or whatever the fuck. I had a Zune because I was a ghetto bitch. It wasn't as easy to watch porn. And this was literally when I was, like, you know, in high school. So now you can watch porn literally all the time. So that is fucking up how men treat women. It's just like I don't know. It's so dangerous and it's really changed the game for both of us. And now it's even more crazy because we're getting some new, we're having more people jump into the mix. Like, I'm not a woman, I'm not a man, like, I'm a lesbian. I'm a lesbian, female to male, transgender, non-binary, who's lesbian. I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm just saying it's like now the pool is even more like now the pool's larger. And the competition is fiercer. And people are more insecure because I'm sorry, it's like you could even be like the biggest, you know, Greek god-looking motherfucker and still be so insecure because you just know that you're one in so many. So that's why I just think that, like, this whole, like, the only way that we could stop this fucking degradation of our society is to just stop fucking, like, enabling it. Stop watching so much porn. You know, stop allowing yourself to be the victim. Stop blaming others. And work on your, like, I know it sucks to feel like shit and then have someone be like, you need to work on yourself. It's like, yeah, no shit, I feel bad already, but you need to tell yourself. You need to not, like, see yourself as, like, a prisoner to who you are, and you have to see yourself as your own friend, and you have to just say, you know what? If I love myself and I was talking to someone I loved and cared about, I would tell them, you should do this, this, and that, because I'm a lot better at giving advice to other people and imagining myself doing the things I'm telling them to do in their body than I am with and I always get good advice too hey, Ayush Aman, welcome. We're probably not even here anymore. That's really all I'm trying to say. It's like, I've realized this because I have a lot of issues with jealousy. Trust me, I have a lot of jealousy issues. I think having an inferiority complex, as a self-aware woman, as someone, like, can I just be real? What? Oh, hello. Oh, you could retract your message. I was gonna say, like, when I was growing up, this is the thing about girls. When you think of girls, you think of like lip gloss and like cute and like pretty and princess, and you just think of a lot of things that are like aesthetically pleasing and clean and pristine and whatever. And when I was growing up, I was very weird and gross, and like I kind of had to really lean into trying to be goofy and kind of like own the things that people gave me shit for. And I feel like a lot of girls would kind of ostracize me. They wouldn't want to be my friend, and they would want to be my friend's friends, but not mine. It'd always kind of be like, you're cool, but your friend's kind of weird, and I'd be that weird friend. So I think I've definitely dealt with mean girl gnosis. What's the word? Like, I definitely dealt with mean girl bullshit, which is kind of similar to like rejection that guys get from mean girls. It's very similar to the rejection you get friendship wise from a mean girl as it is as like a guy. Because it's still like an ego thing. It's still like a status thing. It's still like, I don't want to be near you because you're going to make me look bad. You know? I've definitely been a girl that guys have been like, I don't want people to know we've hooked up. It's only been one time because after that, I learned my lesson. But I'm just trying to say that it's like I really had to learn how to cope, which is truly like I think what most people do. If they're not feeling good about something or they felt better before and now they're trying to deal with like coping with not feeling as good as their expectations, we all do it. And so I think I've had to learn just for my own sake how to rationalize and pragmatically have a routine of coping strategies and mechanisms. And a lot of it has to do with being okay with rejection and being okay with people not liking you. And, having kind of a balance of being able to make fun of yourself, being able to make fun of other people, being able to know when someone is trying to joke with you versus laugh at you. Being able to recognize if someone's laughing with you versus laughing at you is really important. Because I know, like, sometimes if you're just overly sensitive and you can't handle jokes, that sucks. Like, a lot of friendships are based on just kind of being able to clown on each other. But obviously there's a point where that clowning becomes bullying or the person hasn't shown you that they care about you. I'm good. Thank you so much. I don't know. Are you asking me if I'm good or are you saying I am good? Do you have an opinion on what I'm talking about? How did you even find this? So crazy. I get the most random people watching me sometimes, which is no one ever watches me. But like what I'm trying to say is like you have to this is just kind of advice I'm trying to give for myself, but anxiety sucks, and I think if you're anxious and you don't feel comfortable with who you are and you're not making choices every day, every hour, every moment that you're doing something, you're making a choice. And if you're not making choices that take you to that next level, then you're not going to get the things you want in life. And when it comes to other people, I'm an introvert. So I think being alone has actually really helped me kind of get to know myself and get to know my boundaries and kind of refine my tastes without trying to impress anyone. Because I think growing up a lot of times also everything I thought and gravitated towards was transactional, and I was trying to impress someone or even subconsciously if I like this, then I'm going to meet people. But so being alone has really helped me kind of realize I like this. Even if I don't know if anyone else likes it, I do. And then if people like the same shit I like organically, that's a really easy way to kind of get to know someone. And in the end, if you don't like yourself, you're not going to give a shit about who likes you. If you're always just trying to fill some void with validation, it's going to be very fleeting. I know how that feels. I know what it's like to, live for attention and to do things just for the reward, which is why I deleted Instagram, because it's like really there is no point in putting something out there just to have people be like, that's great, I approve, like, great. Then you're always seeking that vapid approval. If you like yourself, and I know it's really hard to like yourself, and sometimes it's okay to not like yourself. Sometimes it's okay to be like, dude, I'm a piece of shit, I'm cringy, I'm ugly, and that's okay. That's okay, because why am I special? Why do I even want to be special? Do you really want to be special in a world of 8 billion people when there's so many people who are special? Being famous, being influential, getting a lot of pussy. Because also the way I see guys looking at women, it's kind of like an addiction. Like, women are kind of obsessed with, I'm being very general, but a lot of women are obsessed with attention, right? Like, a lot of women, even sexually, a lot of women are turned on by the fact that a guy they want to fuck them. And not just fuck them like, hey, like, let's smash. No, it's like a guy that a girl wants to fuck, he already has his foot in the door, so he just has to be like, hey, you're cute. What music do you like? What are you into? And if she's playing games, fuck her. Like, look, if you don't want to play games and the person you're talking to is playing games, like, bitch, this ain't Scrabble. This ain't PS4. You don't need to fucking play games with people. Like, it's a waste of time. And you kind of have to be that person to set that boundary where it's like, there's no point. Like, what? And if it's for sex, fine. Like, that's the thing. I think a lot of women, we don't want sex. We will give you sex if I'm saying give you sex because unfortunately I learned to see sex as a transaction. But the thing is, a girl could actually really want to fuck you if you do things and say things and exude an energy that is fuckable. And then it won't feel dirty. It won't feel weird. It won't feel messed up. It will feel good. And then, that's how I think relationships happen and the butterfly feelings happen. And those are some dank feelings. And I just don't know how many people are genuinely feeling that these days with how easy. Because it's a dance, bitch. Okay? Sex and relationships and sexual chemistry and, like, emotional chemistry and, like, all that bullshit. It takes time. It takes, I'm throwing out the trash. It takes time, bitch. And it takes energy and effort. And I know it's kind of easy to not put in effort these days. Like, I just want to spend time watching YouTube and, like, crying and eating and, but you could be different from what these people are used to. You don't have to be like, oh, it's all a competition. Oh, she's probably thinking about this other guy. Oh, like, if I fuck her, she's probably thinking about bigger dicks than mine. Like, we're not. We're really not. We're not. Are guys doing that? I'm from California, bitch. I'm a West Coast slut. Which, let me tell you, living in California, and when I say California, I mean Los Angeles. Maybe I should stop doxing myself. Like, you actually see firsthand how empty people's lives are despite being rich. Because you always hear that cliche, like, money doesn't buy happiness. Of course money buys stuff. Money buys comfort. Money buys access to not have anxiety and to have more freedom. Which is also why when men are like, women just want guys with money, it's not that people want money. And a lot of times, like, I think women want to have fun. I mean, Cyndi Lauper wrote a fucking song about it. But there are also a lot of women who make their own money and They don't want a guy, like people who make money and who are in a good position in life, they're not wondering or worrying about how other people view their money. You know what I mean? Like, if you have money, you could find someone who also has money, or you could also find someone who doesn't really need super expensive stuff. You know, you don't have to be with someone who needs that much money from you. I mean, just have enough money where you're not making her life harder by dating you, you know? But also, a lot of it is like, I don't know what it is. I don't know. Because I used to be like, I really don't care if the person I'm with has money, because in my head I'm not superficial. But then I realized how much money I spend. Just like, and like I'm always getting into debt. So I think that's why like people want, like if someone doesn't have money, they want someone with money. So if you're worried about like hypergamy, the reality is that, you know, when someone has confidence, then people want to be around that. And I can actually say that factually because I have borderline personality disorder. And so my self-esteem is always fucking changing, like within the hour. So objectively, nothing's really different. But when I'm in a shitty mood and I try to interact with people, it just doesn't happen. Like, I just project a shitty energy. Like, I get narcissistic. I start complaining about my problems because I can't help it. And it's obviously not inviting and it's not attractive, like, in any way. And then the next day, I'll be in a good mood for whatever reason. And I'll just bring the fucking fire. I'll just fucking start making jokes and talking to people and just, I don't know, just trying to have fun. And people are nicer to me. And they're like, you know, because everyone's in their own head. And if they're feeling like someone is like giving them attention and being nice, like they open up. So I think it'll be a lot better for people to just stop being self-obsessed and worried about not being the best and like why am I not getting more attention? Why is this person getting more attention than me? Are they hotter? Maybe they are hotter. Okay? It's fine. It really is. Like, I think being hot is so fucking boring. Like, I mean, I want to be hot, but I'm saying, like, everyone wants to be hot, but, like, do we really care if someone else is hot? Usually when someone else is hot, it just makes us feel bad about ourselves. You know? So, to be honest, I'm more interested in, like, interesting people. I watch Bobby Lee's Have you seen Bobby Lee's wife? By the way, you see, like, you really always see really, like, average guys with women who love them, who are genuinely very physically beautiful, you know. Like, even if they are with them for the money, they do love them. It's not just for the money. No one is gonna, like, us women, we're very, we don't want to waste our time. We don't want to be bored. We don't want to be sad. So even if you have money, but you make us fucking miserable, like, we're not going to want to be around you. So at least men get to actually have hope in that sense. Like, I don't know. If anything, ugly women should be more focused on making money and getting, like, a poor guy, you know? And be okay with him cheating all the time. I do think a lot. I'm 26. Which I feel like when I tell people I'm 26, they get very disappointed. They're like, oh, I was hoping you were like 14. No, I'm just kidding. I'm old. And I know I'm not actually old. Like, I know 26 isn't old. But I like saying I'm old because, like, I think a lot of women my age or 30 or they don't like being older. They don't like being, like, they kind of wish, like, I'll always hear weird shit like, you know, I don't know. It's like they want to hear that they look like 14 or something or like really young. I'm like, that's so weird. I think that's weird. And that's how I know that I'm not just bullshitting because I actually don't care like about looking 30 or about being 30 or even being 40. Like I have no problem with like, I think a lot of women who are older are like actually hot. Like I'm not even, obviously, you gotta take care of yourself. I already know I'm gonna look like a straight up like, I'm gonna look like shit when I'm old if I even make it. But I'm just saying, like, being old as a woman isn't like, it doesn't mean you're ugly at all. Like I see hot old chicks all the time, and all I see is more life experience and wrinkles. But okay, who cares? Like I don't, just keep your body nice and tight. So I don't know. It's just kind of fascinating that so many like women actually think that they have to be like competing with time. And of course, men are going to give younger women attention, and it's gross. I get that, but just, let it be. It's not that crazy. It's not that bad. It doesn't mean you're like, if you are entertaining and you figure out how to be entertaining or have a talent, like older women just get to experience the average man experience, which is like, all right, average men go through life being nobodies, being old, like, and having to work and having to just deal with being a nobody. And women, I understand a lot of women, we have this like intrinsic princess entitlement. And it's really not completely our fault. That's just like we have been conditioned to think that if we have a vagina, we need to be desirable. And but I've learned to realize like, hey, I'm cool with having the average man experience. It's okay. But anyways, yo, that's kind of it, I guess. That, because we are products of biology, no matter what, there will be peacocking, there will be natural selection, there will be Darwinian paradigms. And it does suck that our social infrastructure is so heavily based on vanity, status based on vanity. I will say that it's fucked up to be a human because our natural selection process is so, in a way, it's self-controlled. Because people could glow up, people could look at themselves and be like, damn, I look like shit. Or like, oh, damn, I have a bad personality. Like, but we look very different from each other, A lot of animals, their mating rituals are very, from what we could see, automatic and very kind of like instinctual, whereas ours, there's a lot of options that we could take to try to get results in life, aka sex, reproduction. And we look very different. And, because physical attraction is such a pertinent part of our social makeup, like people have to worry about what they look like, their hairstyle, their hygiene, their teeth, their body. Can I tell you the fact that, like, you're probably like, why are her teeth so fucked up? Does she do crack? No. I have body dysmorphia, and it's actually so fucked up, but I've always had issues with my weight, and most people do. But I've always had issues with my weight, and I've always kind of seen myself as like a fat chick. And I developed an eating disorder a really long time ago, but I've like gone in and out of it, and it's been really bad for the past 2 years. And I started losing weight out of desperation by working out a lot and barely eating. And I was so just like committed to that I lost a bunch of weight, and like I did it I did it the anorexic way where you just like don't eat. So nothing was really happening physically besides losing weight. And I was looking kind of good because I was kind of chubby, so I was just kind of starting to look like hot. I was getting a lot of good attention for it. And then I started realizing that I miss food and I couldn't deal with like not eating. So I found myself being bulimic all the time and chewing and spitting candy all the time and just not taking care of my teeth and throwing up all the time. And obviously, people usually say anorexia is about control, that it's not always about how you look. It's fucking bullshit. People get addicted to seeing themselves be skinny. And it's like, once you see yourself skinny, it's like you really want to stay there for some fucked up reason, especially because of the attention you get for it. And a lot of it is that whole other people kind of like, it's fucked up. It's a real thing. So I sacrificed my teeth that look fucking terrible, that look so fucking gross, to be skinny. And now it's like, dude, you can gain fucking 50 pounds in like a month. I mean, it's like, and then your teeth are still fucked up. So it's kind of just not even worth it. And you're playing this fucked up like game with yourself. And so I will say that vanity and just like social perception and not feeling good enough and being scared that you're not going to be able to get, romance or a life partner because you're not attractive enough, it's a real thing. And a lot of those feelings of inferiority could lead people down dark roads and bad, like mental pathways. You want to talk? So, yeah. And I think the best thing you could do also is just tell yourself okay, I know this is really hard to like tell yourself, and it's really hard to kind of admit to yourself, but what's wrong with being alone? I think that's a good question to ask. What's wrong with being alone? In the end, a lot of times people are more addicted to having a companionship than they are in the person that they're actually with. Same with friends. A lot of times our relationships are transactional and they're very dependent on how that person makes us, like, not makes us feel, but knowing that that person is there for us because we don't want to be alone. Like, there's a lot of relationships, friendships, whatever, in which they're really just based around codependence. And the people in the relationships don't actually like each other, but they're there for each other. And that's more, it's like very familial. And you know, when those relationships end and you just want to jump into a new one, or you just want to jump straight into getting that validation from someone else, you are wasting your own time and your own potential, because you need to take the times that you're alone to actually get to know yourself and allow yourself to be who you are and be real with yourself. Hi. I'm reading your comment. I just don't really know what to tell you. I answered all your questions. Anyways.